I'm totally stumped on this one. I know everything I want to say, but technically not how I should say it. So maybe I'll just try to just start talking. See what happens.
I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings. But now I shine with your reflection on me.
This will also probably be one of the most vulnerable things that I will talk about. I definitely do not ever talk about my family issues or problems or anything like that. We've always kind of been taught to just try to work it out with each other. Don't be one of those families that are like talking shit about each other online. That's not who we are. Keep our business within our business. And I'm all for that. I am. And this is not what that's about to be. This is about to just be pretty much a letter to my parents, hopefully expressing myself in totality of what I feel better than what I can do over the phone or in text message to them. And it's mostly for me to just release all this so I can just move forward, because I'm about to be a mom and I do not want any of this harboring in my heart anymore. It's been painful. I've cried enough about it and I'm over it. I just want to be done with this. And as you are pregnant, you should be healing multiple different karmic things with yourself, with your past life, with your parents, with everything. So you're not bringing that into the new journey with the new child. And that's what this is for. I'm gonna start with my mom, someone who I've spent the most time with growing up, because she has been the person who has raised me and my sister. And I'll get to my dad later in the video. I have sisters from him as well, but I was not raised with them. I absolutely love and appreciate my mom. I want to start there. I want to start on a very light, positive note. I absolutely adore that woman. I absolutely miss her, and I wish that things were different. I do not want to harm her with this video. I do not want to embarrass her with this video. I do not want to get a rile out of her, ruffle her feathers with this video. I don't, not at all. I do not want to ruffle the feathers of her husband with this video either, because I will be mentioning him as well. My mom growing up has been the one who nurtured my gift. She saw it early. She thankfully nurtured it instead of telling me that I was crazy. She and I are against that word because people love to throw that word around. And because of that, she wanted to protect me with the gift. So although it upset me that I felt like I was hidden from other family members of what I am and what I could do, she was doing it so that way they wouldn't call me crazy, which I get it. She did use my gift a lot upon growing up, her and some of her friends. However, she did apologize for that, and I do very much appreciate her recognizing that although it could have been draining, we both know that it's still an exciting thing, especially when you're, in the beginning of it all, and so I get it. I'm not holding any grudge towards her about that, about any of that part. Where my pain lies is in current time. It's happening in real time, and it's been happening for 6 years since she has married her husband. Her husband does not accept my mom's children. She may be in denial about that, or she may be giving it to God and praying about it, which I get. I totally understand that. But after 6 years for the same problems to be going on with him not acknowledging me when I'm on the phone, unless he's in a good mood or feels like it, or hardly ever, to me that's just rude. You take someone into your family, you are supposed to be open to the entire family. Don't get me wrong, I recognize that him and I have shared words and arguments that most likely made him uncomfortable, but it was me expressing myself freely and expressing myself to help my mom in things that I felt like should have been said. I recognized early on that that was not my place to say certain things, so I stopped doing so, and we have not had any arguments since, and these were years ago. I also recognize that you have to let people make their own choices, and you can't be in someone else's marriage. However, in present time, if you are still not acknowledging her children, that's a problem. he is a minister and so am I. And I feel like him being an old school minister and me being a new age minister has created some sort of a clash or a barrier. And also, someone who is a minister, I would think, would know how to learn how to forgive or come to some sort of clarity or common ground if you're holding tension towards someone. So if he's holding tension towards me and that's why standoffish with me or does not acknowledge my presence when I'm on the phone with her, to me that still means that he has an issue with me. And to me, that means that her knowing this and still kind of just allowing it, whether they talk about it or not, it's still happening, it's still being allowed. It feels like she's choosing her husband over how I'm feeling. And so we constantly get into little tips about that, and then she ghosts me and doesn't respond back to what I say until weeks later. And to me, that feels like gaslighting. I want nothing to do with the situation anymore. And I kind of just want to say that I love you, I'm always going to love you, but I don't think that communication is going to be healthy anymore because I cannot keep feeling all this pain and crying about this dynamic that just seems to not be ever to happen. Okay, so filming has triggered me. I'm just sitting here before editing, and some more things that I wanted to add in the video actually popped in while laying here before editing, but some more things popped in as I was just kind of frozen in thought and emotion. That my mom lived with me for a year, and so that's why it kind of hurts to not be able to live with her, especially when I needed it the most, when I had my ex drop me off there, because the husband doesn't want me living in the house. I want everyone who has a family to live with, that whether you have a happy family or you do not have a happy family, first of all, I pray for your family dynamic to get better if it is not a happy home. And I hope that you get freedom out of there as soon as possible. But if you do have a somewhat content home to be in, please don't take that for granted either, because struggling and having to pretty much feel like an orphan most of your life or fend for yourself, even after you've extended a lot of help, a lot of guidance, and a lot of nurture to your own parent that you don't feel like you get in return, please count your blessing. People always ask, over the years, what's up with your parents? Why you can't live with your parents? Well, my mom's husband doesn't want me in the house. And before that, she was struggling also. As far as my dad, twice I've asked to live with him in my teenage years, and he said no both times. And now him and his brother, they're, roommates, and so I cannot live there because it's a very tight space anyway. However, my mom has a big house and I can't live there. At this point, I'm taking that as God's way of telling me it's better off me not living there, because there probably would be a lot of stress and triggers if I did live there anyway. So at this point, I'm very grateful for how my life is going, and I just wanted to release all of this so it's not festering anymore. I also recognize that my mother's actions also stem from influence from her mother, and her mother traumatizing my mother in multiple different ways for multiple different reasons. And I do get that sometimes, instead of going away from how your parent was and being different and being better, we sometimes become our parents. And so as far as my grandmother is concerned, all I can do is pray that she seeks self-acceptance, and so does my mom, on many different areas of what has created a domino effect. My mom often feels like I do not give the same flack to my dad, and it's not fair. Well, the only reason why that may seem to be true is because I don't have as many things to say to him anymore, because he actually does acknowledge where he has gone wrong and admits to it. I can give him that. He admits to things that he has done wrong or things that have caused pain. And even though he may sometimes be dismissive, he'll then accept what I'm trying to say and hear me. he also checks on me more often than she does, which is so shocking because growing up, he was not really around. And I saw him on holidays and certain weekends. For him to be in my life now and trying to check up on me in the way that he does, as often as he does, to me that says a lot, and that shows that he's trying. And if I have something to express to him, he does not ghost me and ignore what I'm saying or ignore the text and wait weeks later to respond to it. That is gaslighting. And no offense to my mom, but that is what she does. So as far as me not giving him the same flack, of course I'm not going to, because I feel heard and I feel seen from him. Now that does not mean I do not have hurt from him, and to release my pain from him is that he has been with a woman for over a decade. They are no longer together, but I do feel like he also put her before his children. Not the children that has grown up in the house with him, but the children that he has had before those children. And she may say that they've had it bad as well, which I get. I totally get that, because it's a different ballgame when you're living with someone. I don't think she realizes, and I'm talking about his ex-girlfriend, I don't think she realizes that he still puts her feelings over the feelings of the children outside of that house. He may do it with the children in the house, but I don't know that. But as far as if I have something and me and the ex-girlfriend had words or had an incident, he will literally ask about why I did what I did to her instead of trying to find out both sides first. To me, that's putting her before his children, and throughout life, he has not really been present, but what I can say is that he's trying now. And I really do appreciate that, and I love my dad as well, and I appreciate his presence in my life.
I think what probably brought all this to surface again for me, and for me to release it, is doing the video that I just did about my suicide attempt. Because I would not have even been on that bridge in San Francisco if I was in New York with my family. And I'm not putting that on them. I do not want anyone thinking that I'm putting the blame there on them. It was a series of events that led up to that. However, I just know that life could have been different, but it's not different, and this all happened for a reason. And before anyone says, well, you had your sister's house, you could have just chucked it up and dealt with it, you don't know what it felt like being there for reasons why it felt like it. So I don't want to hear that. Kindly said. I hope that didn't come off too aggressive.
To both of my parents, I hope that this does not hurt you. I'm just trying to release this and maybe help anyone else who may feel like they want to express something about their own family that they feel like they can't, because it is always advised that you do not. I get that we live in a world where we should show face and everything should be okay, and we shouldn't let our problems out to the world because they can put those against you. But what about those people who have no one to talk to? And what about those people that feel completely alone and who knows what they will do? Because I said in my previous video, I've been there. We all need to express more what hurts us so we can let it be free, and we can be free. So it's not harboring a big knot in our chest that holds back so many other things. You have to open space to receive what's next for you. If you're holding on to different pains and hurts and burdens that you're putting on yourself or that others put on you, how are you going to be light enough to soar to heights that you can't even imagine? I'm not trying to sound cliche with this, it's just what it is. So I do thank my mom for trying in the way that she does, and I guess in the way that's comfortable for her. But I can say that the gaslighting is extremely painful, and I've learned a bunch of things that I do want to do with my child coming into the world, but I've also learned a lot of things that I don't want to do with my child coming into the world from both parents. So thank you so much for being teachers in many different ways, and I hope to release this and be an amazing parent myself. And I'm sure that I will not have all the answers, and I'm sure that I will make mistakes too. And I'm not trying to say that you both did everything wrong, but you both didn't do everything completely right. And yes, I know that parents do not come with a book of instructions. I am aware of that. I am just hoping that Spirit would upload all the instructions that I need moving forward. I really hope that I expressed myself in the best way that I can. And I really hope that this is received well by them. And even if it is not, I really had to do this. I had to do this, and I hope you guys know this. It was too heavy on me and too painful. Until next time, just breathe. See you.